Do you like it when things go pew pew and explode? Did you see that old Karate Kid movie? Or its television sequel, Cobra Kai? Or the Jackie Chan reboot? Or, I don't know, that weird cartoon version of it? If so, then the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai is right up your alley. Hello everyone, my name is Rambles-on, and today I will be continuing my Dragon Ball journey.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it snows, I skate in and they froze. I don't know nothing about no ice, I'm just cold. 40-something Billy subs or so, I've been told. I'm in my prime and this ain't even final form. They knock me down but still my feet, they find the floor. I went from living room straight out to sold out tours. Life's a fight, but trust I'm ready for the war. Whoa, this is how the story goes. Whoa, I guess this is how the story goes.
I've decided to review both Master Roshi's training and the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai in one shot, because Master Roshi's training really needs the context of the Tenkaichi Budokai to understand the merit behind it. And boy was Master Roshi's training arduous. Running miles every day to deliver milk, plowing fields with your bare hands, swimming in shark-infested water, getting stung by bees, and having to find a rock in the midst of a massive forest. Though these might all seem like pointless bluster, once you read into it, you can actually see the effect that all of these exercises have. Running builds endurance, and weaving between the bushes helps your agility. Digging and swimming both require you to work just about every muscle in the body. Being chased by bees helps work close quarters combat, and makes you grow accustomed to the fact that even in a fight, the most seasoned warrior will still take damage. The rock bit I'm not really sure on. It was probably just a way to sow the competitive spirit between Goku and Krillin. Even though the physical part of the training is what carries Goku and Krillin through the tournament, the mental part of it is one of the most important reasons you don't skip original Dragon Ball. I'd like to point out that while Master Roshi might have been Goku's most influential master, he wasn't Goku's first master. That would be Grandpa Gohan. But I wouldn't count what they were doing as actual training, more like just surviving. Any exercise they would have gotten would have been purely for the fun of it. This was the first time Goku had an actual goal to shoot for. But there's a flip side to chasing a goal. While it can give you the discipline to stick to a training routine, pursuing it too vigorously will lead to burnout, overexhaustion, and possibly injury, which hinders the very growth you wanted. Goku, with his infectious energy and one-track mind, would without a doubt be the kind to chase a goal with everything he's got. Master Roshi knows this, which is why he wanted to teach them to balance working hard with resting hard. This is the mentality that Goku carries for the rest of Dragon Ball and Z. You can see it with how Goku makes Gohan leave the hyperbolic time chamber early because the gains wouldn't be worth the mental stress of living in isolation for 2 months. With training your mind, body, and spirit covered, the only thing missing from this training for a martial arts tournament is, I don't know, training in actual martial arts? Seriously, Roshi sends these two to a fighting tournament knowing nothing about fighting. Sure, Goku was taught by Gohan, and Krillin was a monk for 8 years, so they already knew how to punch and kick. But Roshi didn't cover any fighting styles with them. If you think Toriyama maybe did this because he didn't want to box himself in with only giving his characters one fighting style, or maybe he thought diving into the nitty-gritty with fighting styles would slow the story down too much and readers would get bored with it, he didn't have to make it a real-life fighting style. It could have been something made up, like Hakuto from Fist of the North Star. Or even better, just train the kids in Ki. Set up some tin cans on a fence and let them fire Kamehamehas at it until they wear themselves out. Krillin didn't have any Ki training when he went to the tournament, so he had a massive handicap. I'm sorry for harping on this point so much, but imagine taking a bodybuilder who'd only hit the gym and never taken martial arts lessons, went to an MMA match, and picture how that would turn out. Whew. Okay, sorry about the tangent, let me lock in. Once we get to the tournament, we reunite with Yamcha. Despite getting better, Yamcha is still leagues below Goku. As proof, Goku beats the brakes off someone who uses a fighting style very similar to Yamcha's on the exact page that Yamcha gets reintroduced. This highlights the exact reason why Goku pulled so far ahead of the Earthlings as fast as he did. Well, besides the obvious. Goku trains smarter and not harder. He always finds new training methods once he feels like he can no longer benefit from his current regime, while the others are always one step behind, only starting to train like Goku once he's finished and moved on. Fun fact, in the spin-off Dragon Ball that time I got reincarnated as Yamcha, which is a 10 out of 10 story by the way, and you should absolutely read it. Yamcha goes with Goku and Krillin to Roshi's and actually stays on par with them for a while. As the tournament progresses to the top 8, we learn the story of Nam. Hearing about how his village bet it all on him winning the tournament makes us sympathize with him. And thus, we have ourselves a paradox. Out of the 8 contestants in the finals, the audience is actively rooting for 5 of them, but only 1 can win. So, how does Toriyama resolve this dilemma? By asking us who truly worked the hardest for it. One thing you have to keep in mind about Roshi is that in-universe, he's revered as a type of celebrity. The people view him as a genius in martial arts who's so strong he's one of the few humans who can throw magic around. Despite that, no one goes out of their way to become his student, so it speaks to the resolve of anyone who does. If we ask ourselves that, Yamcha and Nam are automatically out for not putting in the effort. While we don't know in canon what Yamcha did to prepare for the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, if he had Bulma on his arm, I think it's safe to say his head wasn't fully in the game. While Nam's story was sad, it doesn't overwrite the hard work that everyone else did to get to this point. It's shown that entering the tournament was a spur-of-the-moment thing, so he had no time to prepare for it. That leaves the Turtle Trio. While Krillin might have only been behind Goku because Goku was playing with cheat codes on, Krillin's motives were still corrupt because he only wanted to start training in martial arts so he could get girls. He's shown that he only pulls up to fight villains when it's an all-hands-on-deck situation, and he doesn't keep up with his training during the downtime. That leaves Master Roshi and Goku as the only 2 left. Master Roshi wanted to stop Goku's dream of winning the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, which isn't exactly a noble goal. But Rambles-on, if his motives were impure, why was he allowed to win, I hear you asking? While Goku had the right mentality down, he physically wasn't capable yet. Goku gets saved by coincidences a lot in this arc. He flat out cheats against Girin by getting help from the Quinto Rune. If the judge hadn't been chill, he would have been disqualified right there. If his tail hadn't grown back at the perfect moment, he would have been thrown out of the ring and lost. He recklessly uses a move which makes him so dizzy, he's left defenseless mid-fight. He needed there to coincidentally be a full moon so he could go Uzaru to break out of the Bakanko Bikurisho. He was actually about to forfeit before that happened, and he technically lost the moment he stepped outside of the ring as the Uzaru, but the judge didn't call it because he didn't know Goku was the monster. The final way in which Roshi ends up winning and Goku ends up losing perfectly illustrates this. Master Roshi's legs are long since he's an adult with decades of experience to back him up, so he inflicts maximum damage, while Goku's legs are short since he was a kid who had little time to grow, so his kick is too shallow to knock Roshi out. The difference in experience is why Roshi wins and Goku loses. But even though Goku loses, his character growth throughout this saga cannot be understated. This is the first arc where we see how Goku overcomes hardship. While he was beginning training already stronger than Krillin, he loses in a competition to get the stone in the forest because he's unrefined. Krillin outsmarted him, which shows his first weakness to overcome. He's simple-minded. Notice how in the Pilaf saga, his solution to every problem was either to punch it or blast it? It wasn't until the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai that he became able to finesse his way around problems. And that's only thanks to Master Roshi's training. While I could see other shonen MCs like Naruto or Luffy getting frustrated at this training because it doesn't relate to being able to punch harder, Goku takes it just as serious as his physical training, and it's how he grows as a character. And that mindset of growing and bettering yourself becomes Dragon Ball's biggest theme moving forward. A lot of critics say one of Dragon Ball's biggest shortcomings is that, unlike become Hokage or become King of the Pirates, Dragon Ball has no end goal. And that's by design, because bettering yourself never really stops until you die. And it doesn't even stop there for Goku. Pushing Goku forward in his journey is his first friend and rival Krillin. Or I guess second rival if you count Yamcha. But anyway, I think his motive of wanting to become stronger to prove to his bullies that he's capable is, in its own right, a great motive. And he really rounds out the cast of being a straight man to Goku and Roshi's wacky antics. His niche of using strategy to compensate for his lack of muscle is... Wait a minute, hold on, run that tape back. Where did he get those? He's only known Bulma for a few hours at this point. When did he have the chance to steal her panties? He didn't know about Jackie Chun's degeneracy until the tournament was already in full swing. Did he wake up that morning and go, I better steal some woman's underwear today, never know when those might come in handy? What a bald little weirdo. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. His shtick of strategy to compensate for his lack of muscle is really entertaining to watch, and does a good job of making him the brains to Goku's brawn. It's just a shame that for all his creativity, strategy only makes a difference when the gap in power isn't too wide. Still though, I find it commendable that without the XP multiplier that Goku has on, he still remains pretty close in strength. Someone else whose performance was impressive in this arc is Master Roshi. The Pilaf saga established him as this pervy old man who happened to know a thing or two about martial arts. But this saga showed us why he's the master. The many techniques he busts out during the tournament, several of which he's implied to have invented, illustrate how much experience he really has in martial arts. I also liked how he acts as this sweet old grandpa figure to Goku and Krillin. He takes them to his vacation home, does fun little chores with them, and buys them both custom clothes because he's proud of them and wants them to wear his symbol. For all his faults, it's nice to see that he genuinely cares about the two. Another character that underwent some growth this arc is Yamcha. Going from desert bandit jumping people and stealing everything from them, to top 8 strongest under the heavens is a pretty big lifestyle change. And seeing him work to better himself so he can hang with Goku is inspiring. I just wish we could have gotten a single chapter following him in his training. It couldn't have been that difficult to show him crushing a dojo so that at least his only on-screen wins wouldn't be relegated to just the Invisible Man. But I guess not focusing on him makes sense since he only joined the tournament to get washed to hype up Jackie Chun. Speaking of which, let's talk about Jackie Chun. You might think I'm stupid, but looking back on this, I thought there was at least a 50-50 shot that this was leading to a joke where someone thought Jackie Chun was Roshi and tried pulling off his wig, only for the real Roshi to walk up, revealing he was in the bathroom the whole time. But no, he just ended up being the legit Roshi. Looking back on it, it could have been entirely possible that Jackie Chun and Roshi were different people, considering how easy it is for people to clone themselves in Dragon Ball. The only other character I can really ramble on about is Lunch. But I mean, what is there to really ramble on about? She came, she cooked dinner, and she left. What I find the funniest about her is that in her good form, she's a normal human, but when she sneezes, she becomes strong enough to knock out a fully grown man. That means her evil transformation is a legitimate power multiplier, meaning she has more power multipliers than Yamcha. That is a crazy thought. The training of Kami-Sennin and the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai do a great job of furthering the fantasy China aesthetic that was established in the Pilaf saga. While in the Pilaf saga, we had talking, shape-shifting animals, little imp men, and dinosaurs walking around. This saga pushed the buck by having mermaids, monk dogs, and dragons who fight with their spit. The whole design of the Budokai ring also radiates Chinese aesthetics, and every new fighting style that drops just makes it better. One of my personal favorites is the after image technique, which, upon reviewing the series, I've realized gets a lot more mileage than I initially remembered. Seriously, go back and rewatch original Dragon Ball. This thing was basically every character's bread and butter for a while. And I also like the Kyoken. Besides sharing a name with a much more iconic power-up that would come later, the Kyoken in particular was one of the most distinct fighting styles. It was a missed opportunity to not have Kid Goku use it more than once, as it highlighted Kid Goku's animalistic personality. And believe me, Kid Goku was a force of nature. It could have also comboed nicely with that form Goku took on when he drank the Ultra Divine Water and went feral while channeling the Uzaru. Master Roshi and his unorthodox training methods also harken back to a lot of Chinese kung fu movies that had been released a generation prior. Krillin being a monk is also more fitting because monasteries were a very common motif used in these films. The craziest thing is that a movie that also uses Master Roshi's tactic of doing random chores to get stronger was also getting popular around this time. That movie was Karate Kid, a movie popular for combining 90s American surfer dude culture with esoteric Asian martial arts culture. While the two released far too close together for me to believe there was some type of inspiration drawn from one another, I still find it amusing that two different series were able to take two widely different audiences by storms by using the exact same plot beats. And Goku's mentor uses the alias Jackie Chun to fight in the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, and in the remake of Karate Kid, Jackie Chan plays a mentor figure. Plus, Akira Toriyama has said that he thinks Jackie Chan is the only person who could capture Goku's vibe in a live-action Dragon Ball. So it all comes full circle when you think about it.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme, every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one.
This arc is also where a lot of the gag humor that bled over from Akira Toriyama's time working on Dr. Slump began to trail off. We got some excellent gags like Krillin only being able to beat Goku's running speed because Lunch was chasing him with a knife, or Krillin stealing the stone from Goku so he could get dinner, only for said dinner to be poisoned, or Krillin getting paired up with a stinky guy and beating him by being even stinkier. Come to think of it, a lot of bad things happen to Krillin in this arc.
Good, you bald little weirdo.
On a side note, I love how Toriyama carrying over the design choices from Dr. Slump where everyone's legs turn into little squiggly lines where they run. It's kinda cute. It's been said in countless video essays and reviews over the years that the Tenkaichi Budokai marked a change in Dragon Ball's tone, where the series went from a wacky explorathon to more of a martial arts themed combat series. But why is that? I've seen the claim thrown around that Dragon Ball was meant to be a gag manga and Toriyama only made it a combat manga after he saw fans latch on to the action scenes. But like I said in my review of the Pilaf saga, which you should definitely check out here when you're done, that isn't true. In writing, there's a trope called the artifact, which is defined by TV tropes as a character or gimmick that no longer fits the mood or design of the story, but is kept because there's no way to get rid of them without causing serious disruption. For example, the title Yu-Gi-Oh!, which became irrelevant after the main character changed, or the nickname JoJo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which was abandoned because it would cause too much confusion when trying to discuss the characters. Artifacts can't be created unless a series isn't afraid to grow and explore new territory. While I don't think the artifact necessarily applies to Dragon Ball, because the Dragon Balls do remain very important throughout the entirety of the story, the search for them does become significantly less important. Can you imagine if we had to do a Pilaf Saga-esque search every time we needed to wish someone back to life? Half the series would be padding. It's clear that around Chapter 20, Toriyama thought he'd achieved a loyal enough fanbase to begin entertaining new ideas, and getting the Dragon Balls from wacky enemies started being the artifact. However, there was a decision made on the fly this arc, and that was the decision to create Krillin. You see, Krillin wasn't in the first draft of Toriyama's story. He was made because the editor thought the manga would sell more copies if Goku had a rival like other cool shonen series did at the time. Which is crazy when you look back and realize how many things in the story Krillin was responsible for. Krillin figures out how to beat the Invisible Man. Krillin's death caused Goku to pursue Tambourine, which led to him having to drink the Ultra Divine Water to get to young King Piccolo's level. It was Krillin who took the last bit of energy from the Spirit Bomb and comboed with Gohan to beat Vegeta. It was his idea to go to Namek to look for another set of Dragon Balls to revive the group that died. He runs interference with the Namekian Dragon Balls long enough to prevent Frieza and Vegeta from wasting them, and chooses not to deactivate Android 18, who was an asset in the Tournament of Power. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these things wouldn't have happened without Krillin, but they definitely would have gone to different characters. Probably Yamcha, who also fills that role of being a normal guy who falls behind because he's human and not an alien, which means Yamcha got the short end of the stick by being forced to the background. Considering suggestions from Toriyama's editor went on to create two of Dragon Ball's and anime's most iconic villains as a whole, hypothesizing about what a Toriyama-only cut of Dragon Ball would look like is an interesting video idea. Let me know if you want to see something like that in the future. Changing gears, this arc is where a lot of anime tropes were born. Weighted clothes, bracket tournaments, unorthodox training, female anime characters being unable to cook, the character rivaling the main protagonist, giving them an incentive to become stronger, a member of the old generation being the strongest for a bit until the youth leave him in the dust. None of these ideas were exactly created by Toriyama, but he refined them to a point where they became cliches. Shockingly not unlike how Goku snatches other people's techniques and makes them his own. You see, the way a cliche works is that one guy says something new, and a handful of other people hear him, and start repeating it until it enters the dictionary. Toriyama was the guy who did most of the repeating. It's perhaps thanks to this arc specifically that tournaments and training arcs went on to become synonymous with anime. The fact that almost every anime contains either one of those, or both, is a testament to just how much this arc stuck in the minds of future manga creators. The 21st Tenkaichi Budokai wasn't just influential out of universe, but in universe too. Master Roshi's lesson of working hard, studying well, and eating and sleeping plenty becomes the logic Goku operates on for the entire rest of the series. And Goku losing to Jackie Chun establishes the theme of there always being another goal to strive for. And that mindset of always pushing yourself to improve is not only Dragon Ball's biggest message, but also not a bad life philosophy in general. And that's where we're going to call it for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in as we continued my Dragon Ball journey. It's been really fun so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing it. But until then, don't forget to work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. Rambles-on out.
Calling all Saiyans. Do you want to power up your viewing experience? Now's your chance to raise your power level higher than ever before with our Super Saiyan memberships. For only 99 cents, take your viewing experience from basic to super, with early access to new videos, exclusive streams that can only be viewed with Super Saiyan eyes, and loyalty badges displayed next to your username to show off your Saiyan pride. So what are you waiting for? Buy a Super Saiyan membership today for only 99 cents.